So, Josh, I have with us today, we have myself, Eric Howerton, CEO of WhyteSpyder plus SKU Ninja, and then you got Brooke McNeely, Chief Marketing Officer with SKU Ninja plus WhyteSpyder. I don't usually let her talk; I just introduce her.
I
And
never get to introduce myself.
she never gets to introduce
It's
herself.
okay.
She has to sit there
Yes.
and just be she's kind of a
I have the sound effects though.
yeah, she does. She's a sound effects controller.
Get ready.
Did you hear that, Josh?
I heard that was impressive. You have high technology.
Thank you.
We do. We are high tech here, and today I have with us. I'm sorry, not I. We have with us,
yeah.
right? We have with us Josh Saffran. Josh, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you've done, what you're doing, and where you're at right now.
Sure. My name's Josh Saffran. I have been in Bentonville for 9 years in the supplier community with 20 plus years of supplier community experience all over the U.S. I currently manage the BIC business for the Walmart team, an entrepreneur of a company called Gents Place, which is a high-end men's grooming franchise in Bentonville that's been open for 8 months now. So not a lot of sleep time in my life, but very, very busy with the supplier community and being an entrepreneur on the side.
You know, Josh, one of my favorite quotes is from Roadhouse. Actually, there's a lot of great Roadhouse quotes, but one of my favorite ones is when the lady looked at Sam Elliott and said, "You need to go get some sleep." And Sam Elliott looks at her in the eyes and says, "I'll get enough sleep when I die." So,
well, you're the first person I've ever heard quote Roadhouse. So I mean, classic movies to quote, and I've never heard it be Roadhouse. But if that's in your DVD Netflix queue, I'm not really impressed. I gotta admit it.
His name is Dalton. There's another quote for you. I mean, it could go on and on, but we're not here to talk about Roadhouse
You're not
today.
To quote in your
Shh,
to show your movie knowledge.
Shh, Brooke. Shh, no talking.
Or lack thereof. That's not a movie that's in anybody's top 10.
That's true. I mean, I could be quoting something better like Star Wars.
There you go.
I like Star Wars.
You look like a stormtrooper to me.
I like that. Actually, you know what I always wanted to be was one of those emperors, the imperial.
The red ones?
The red ones. Mm-hmm. They're the coolest ones ever. So
yeah.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
Okay. We appreciate that. Hey, so we're here to kind of talk about a little bit more about retail and stuff, but I do want to, can you tell us a bit more about this side gig, or this, not side gig, it's actually the extra full-time gig you got going on as an entrepreneur in Bentonville? You said it was called the Gents Place. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. It's pretty unique. It's a high-end men's grooming franchise and grooming salon and lounge, and it's also a major networking place. So we have a professional shoe shine guy on staff, top shelf complimentary beverage.
Oh,
we have a meeting room.
What?
So we got 6 leather chairs, privacy that hooks up to a 65-inch flat screen to conduct business meetings. We do networking events, and then we provide a great haircut, shave. We do facial, hand paraffin waxing. We do feet work on guys, we do hand work on guys. So it's really, really a place to pamper yourself and enjoy learning about grooming, and a great place to network with other like-minded individuals.
That's awesome. And so did you come up with this concept, or?
No, it's a franchise. It's the CEO is out of Dallas. Emmett Smith and Jerry Jones are involved in the business. So it's a lot of Dallas Cowboys backing, and we're the 9th club that has been opened in the U.S. as we're expanding through other parts of the country.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, so you definitely have a lot on your plate. And then, all right, so let's tell us real quick about, you were talking about you lead BIC, the Walmart teams. Is it the Sam's End Walmart team that you're leading?
No, I just manage the Walmart team, and I manage our business in Puerto Rico. I have a counterpart that manages all of our club business and all of our value discount business, also out of the Bentonville office. So I'm Walmart vertically owning that.
Gotcha. And all right, so this is going to be a really good conversation. I'm really interested to hear kind of your responses, but you've been in this business working with the world's largest retailer, with a major brand for quite some time. And can you give us a little bit of what you've seen from your end, right? From your responsibilities, just the kind of evolution of retail, say in the last 5 years?
Yeah, it was it's obviously 5 years prior it had been very brick and mortar focused, and that's where everybody had been spending their time and energy and resource, and also a lot of the time and energy had been specifically with Walmart expanding that footprint, so larger and larger formats. So all of your investment would go into Walmart, and you'd end up getting more business because they go from 4,200 stores to 4,500 stores, and so everybody and everything had been very brick and mortar focused. And then as Amazon continued to grow and the shopping experience continued to change and everybody began focusing on the .com craze, now everything is shifted and blurring into more of an omni-channel experience where everybody is trying to figure out how to win with Walmart and the shoppers and Amazon morphing into more of a digital experience.
Gotcha. And what do you think that some of your biggest challenges have been within those, within the recent time and era? I mean, you said kind of a key term, keyword phrase is trying to figure out, right? And I mean, that has to present some challenges. And what do you think some of the biggest challenges have been in relation to trying to figure this new ecosystem out?
Yeah, I think with when you're managing the brick and mortar, it's pretty straightforward. If you talk to 100 suppliers in in Bentonville dealing with Walmart, 99 of them would have a similar structure where I got a national account manager calling on a brick and mortar buyer in Bentonville, and I'm getting support from a category management side, sales analytics side, and a replenishment side, all sitting there focused on that. So everybody knows how to do it. They've been doing it for years and years and years. And then you put in this new way of doing business, and you're saying, okay, how do I resource this? Do I have resources in headquarters? Do I have where the money is? Do I have resources locally? Do I have resources in San Bruno? Do I have resources in Jersey? I can't make the P&L work because it's not big enough yet, but I'm going to put hundreds of thousands of salaries into this. And so it's just very convoluted. And if you talk to 100 suppliers, they'd all be doing it differently. Right. So I think people are really struggling to figure out how do I service this business, understanding the ROI is not great yet, and where do I put my resources to best attack it? And Walmart's moving their resources in and out depending on the day of the week to, hey, go deal with this person in San Bruno. No, deal with the person in Bentonville. No, deal with the person in Hoboken. And it's everybody's trying to figure it out, and nobody has a real good answer yet.
Interesting. Brooke, do you have a question? When I said earlier you can't
I
talk,
can't talk.
was
I'm
just
like
kidding.
literally just not talking.
I was kidding.
I know.
Okay, I'm
I know.
sorry.
I'm just listening. This is really great. This is really great stuff.
Did you have a question to follow up? Because I don't want to steal the show from you.
It's okay. I'm just hanging out. I'm listening.
Got it. So let's talk about Josh. I mean, I think another key point that you just brought up is kind of figuring out the ROI. I mean, it doesn't have substantial amount of revenue attached to it. So I mean, you're basically, I think that if I can kind of encapsulate what you're saying is that the direct revenue from e-com sales is not enough, or it's not clear enough, and the future of that is not certain enough right now from your perspective to basically, and it's requiring brands to kind of invest forefront. I mean, everyone's having to take a calculated risk investment from that standpoint, right? To resource up.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, direct selling with brick and mortar is very simple to figure out, but there's three streams of money that the supplier community struggles with. It's what do you do with category management, right? You can't attach a dollar of revenue on the back end to it. How do you handle retail? Do you have to outsource it to a third party? Because again, you can't make the model work by having a direct selling force in many cases. And now the new one and the harder one to figure out is how do you handle e-com, knowing it's going to be big and massive at some point, right, but the dollars are not there yet today to generate, to match back up the resource investment. And then where do you put these people? Do you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to start relocating people across the country? There are very few e-commerce experts, and so it's expensive to bring these leaders in. So yeah, it's really it's a bet on the future, and some companies are figuring it out better than others.
So, I've talked with hundreds of suppliers in the past few years, right? And I think that what you're bringing up is a consistent theme that I would agree that suppliers would echo what you're discussing. One of the things that, like when you start talking about the structure, I mean, being on my side, right? I mean, so your brand, I'm basically, for lack of better terms, kind of an agency, right? We are an agency, and but not in the traditional sense. So, whenever when I hear these things that you're talking about, and let's just be raw and honest, right? Like when I hear them, I think there's a really simple solution to this, and there's a simple approach to this from my perspective, and and uh, and I have ideas on what that structure could look like, but just from my perspective, because I don't get all the other things on your side, right? I mean, you have more of a complex system and organization and other things to think about on the brick and mortar. But one of the core philosophies to my perception on it is the e-commerce will be affecting in the way that the shoppers behave in e-com land is going to be consistent for, I mean, I would say at least 90% of that behavior will be following into the omni-channel land, right? And is that something that brands that you're thinking about, Josh, like recognizing, okay, e-commerce, it's hard to figure out the dollar amounts. Actually, when we look at it, it's not really all there. We know e-com's going to grow. Excuse me. We know e-commerce is going to grow, but then there's this omni-channel thing that's happening on the horizon that includes pickup and delivery, and then who knows what else is going to happen, 2 years from now in that space. Do you see that? Is that considered as part of when you as a brand you see the future of the retail environment?
Yeah, I think people are trying to figure out how to spend their money, and if you just think from a pure media standpoint, 10 years ago, people were loading all their money up into all TV, right? And
Right.
now no one's spending money on TV. Everything is social and digital, and finding ways to catch the shopper on Instagram or on YouTube or other places. So I think everybody is trying to figure out how to reinvest their dollar. And I think that everybody's trying to figure this whole model out, and no one has. I can't say no one. I don't think most have really figured out the best way to do that at this point.
I would agree with you. I think that there is a significant weakness. Sorry,
Okay, maybe
sorry.
why do you have a sip of something? There you go.
I'm sorry. I'm so nervous.
You're so nervous right now
that my throat's drying out. I don't know what to do.
I apologize that I'm making you nervous, Eric.
Well, you're just such a dominant figurehead, and and you're just like the words that come out of your mouth. Every word has absolute power and authority behind it.
Wow.
I just feel obsolete.
It sounds like you're buttering me up or something.
Yeah,
I
right?
am. So hey, listen.
So here's the pitch.
Yeah. So here is a $2.6 million investment in Q Ninja.
I know.
By the way, it's a great platform.
Yeah.
I just texted it. Did you get it? Just confirm.
Yeah.
No. I think that there has been, from my experience, last few years, a massive weakness from major brands, in being ready and adapted to the digital shopper. I think that's. I mean, years ago it was a bigger weakness. Today it's still a weakness, right? And I think that, and from my perspective, so can I just shoot you straight, Josh?
Please.
So I would say the number one thing about trying to figure this all out is like the first thing we got to do, I think, with any topic that's unfamiliar or that's new, is we have to learn about it. And I think the way to learn about it is by listening to the shopper at absolute in depth, right? And granularity. There used to be a time and from the marketing side that you could pretty much, use certain data points and come up with an overarching theme of a demographic, psychographic, target audience of the shopper, and we come up and we find out, okay, it's female with this age, with this amount of income, with these types of household people that are involved in this geography, etc. And then you could, like you said, Josh, go and buy advertising media within TV, because most of them, 90% of them have a television, and 90% of those are watching X channels and at certain times of day. And you could drill down, and then you could attach that message and hit the masses with that and influence a greater range of people. And we also have to remember too that the shopper at that time was dependent upon TV, newspapers, magazines to get information about planet Earth.
Learn about like new items that are out there.
Yeah, new items. Like I was at that time, and I was alive then. I was alive then.
Wow.
Before the internets really was taking place
Huh.
and cell phones. But I remember like I had to when I was trying to discover if I had a problem, right? And Josh, you're still there, right? Because this is big.
This is the pitch.
Yeah,
I'm at the edge of my seat.
All right. Yeah,
okay.
we're waiting.
So at that time, if I had a problem, for example, if my if there's something wrong with my car, I would have to go out and I'd have to do my diligent research at a brick and mortar, and I go ask an expert there, and then they might have the item and then if they did, they would go show it to me, and I go grab it, But I was actually really dependent upon other people to find my information and other sources, and that those people included the retailer, the brands, right, and then what was available, and if there's something wasn't in stock, then the representative would have to go into a catalog and look it up, but their expert opinion was what drove that. So as the retailer and the manufacturer was just very clear on the product offerings that they had, and really the retailer only had certain amount of questions that they would ask a manufacturer to provide in the catalog so that they knew what exactly it was, but they still had an expertise in that subject field, right? All that flipped around when now as a shopper I can use the internet, I can use my cell phone, whatever it is, to go out and ask a robot a question. That robot is Google. And so Google sends me back the best solution and most credible answer to that. And so therefore I could, in my privacy of my own home, without getting outside or maybe in my car now today, I kind of flipped over all the way to today. Now I have all the power of information at my fingertips, of which I'm entrusting not a retailer, I'm not entrusting a brand, because I am entrusting the raw information that a robot is returning back to me, which is based upon a very in-depth algorithm, which is based upon thousands of different factors, of which it's a super secret about. But what I do know for absolute confidence is when I type in a question that I get an answer that is highly convenient. It comes to me immediately. It's on my own terms, and I can do my own diligence to entrust that even further. And and so that's disrupted everything because now I can search and find items. I don't listen as much. I don't find that advertising as credible as it once was, or I don't find the influence of a radio.
Or you don't have it at all. Most
Yeah.
people don't even have cable anymore.
Yeah.
I just watch Netflix.
I just watch Netflix too. I mean, I care less about cable,
Mhm.
honestly. I mean, but I mean, so we're missing media now. But why are we missing media? Because the advertising can't support it. Why can't the advertising support it? Because the communication is not needed from the shoppers anymore. And once
Yep.
advertising always follows, see, I love it. I did this great infographic, Josh, it's about 4 years ago.
Which one?
The basically which it was the history of communication and the history of advertising. And I spent a lot of time and I dug into it. And I was like, okay, I want to understand, because what I could see is that advertising always has followed the communication platform. Human beings have never wanted advertising. Josh doesn't want me to sell him right now this $2.5 million scope of work that I want to send him for technology. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want me to sell him. He wants to have a conversation, right? Authentic, genuine communication. He wants to learn more. I want to learn more, right? If Josh was trying to sell me a pack of razors right now, I wouldn't be too terribly interested in that.
I don't know. Those henna markers.
Is that a shot at my selling skills?
No, the henna markers though, those were really neat. I really enjoyed those.
I was gonna talk about that. And Eric, it would almost sound like we had scripted this, and we haven't. But
right.
our biggest launch this year in innovation is called Bic, Body Mark by Bic. We created a first of its kind marking system in a pen tattoo ink that goes on your skin safely and does great designs. And we have a bunch of stencils and everything else. Had we launched this item 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, it would have been heavy TV, print magazine, and everything else. We spent 100% of our money in the following means. We did, well, maybe 95. We had an Instagram partner named Miriam Lupini, who is a professional tattoo artist.
Awesome.
With huge following.
Yeah.
The videos. I watched the videos. They were really cool.
It's awesome. She got her army of followers, asking, where can I buy this? How can I find this? It's been great. We did retailtainment with Walmart, where we had Miriam come and we did a bunch of demos, and we had a tremendous amount of awareness. And
That's
then
awesome.
we did a bunch of stuff on our Walmart.com page with WhyteSpyder, where we were able to get people to interact with this item, and that's where we spent our money. And you sit back and think about that and go, that's not the way historically a brand would launch an item. And the item has been tremendously successful both at Walmart and in the marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that the success of that, Josh, and what you're just talking about is it's really all about where is the shopper participating? How are they making decisions, and where are they getting in order to make decisions, you have to have information. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, and in order to get information, there has to be communication, right? Because like going back to that history of communication, it started with the running man. Like we just think TV, telephone, or whatever.
Are we going back to?
We're going back to the dawn.
Little House on the Prairie. Is this Little House on the Prairie?
Further back than that.
Okay.
We're going
Laura Ingalls Wilder?
We're going further back than Laura Ingalls. We're going back to before,
like caveman.
We're going back to kind of caveman
like
style.
The first Olympics.
Exactly. So you had the running man. You'd have a group of people in a village that would send a running man to another village to communicate to them, because there's no other way.
I thought you were talking about the running man to dance. I was waiting for you to just start popping and locking behind the running man.
This is a video, so we will.
We might pop and lock.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
we can move awesome. The table.
We could and just start doing that. But so you'd have, that's the way. But the point to that is, and my point to that is really, it's about communication. The other village needed to know information about something that was happening in this village over here. The only and so there is a desire, a human desire that's highly, highly important for people to get information. And the only way you can get that is through communication, through the running man. Otherwise, you're lost. You're on an island. So what we have today is just a very accelerated way of me as an individual, Brooke and Josh, you too. We're getting information in the most convenient way. So it's and so once the running man doesn't work anymore. Why? Because there's a telephone now. Why would I run from Springdale, or I'm sorry, Spiderdale, Arkansas,
Spiderdale to Bentonville?
Why would I run?
I like that Spiderdale. That was good.
I know you do. But why would I, Josh? Why would I? What would you do if you said, "Hey, Eric, will you come? Will you send me over this document?" And I started in Spiderdale, and I started running up to Bentonville. And I was like, "I'll be there in about 3 hours."
I'd probably get in my car and follow you, laughing at you throwing rocks at you. But after that, I'd say it's very inefficient.
Well, it is very efficient. So that point though is that's why we're laughing at TV. Why? Because people aren't going on there anymore to get information and to graduate, because it's outdated. It's slower. Like if I was literally if I was trying to find out about what do you call them? The BIC, what were the markers?
The body mark, the henna markers.
If I was trying to literally find out about, hey, I want to have a pen that I can put tattoos on myself with, or my friends and I can do it.
Well, it's cool because I'm actually allergic to henna, like the natural stuff. So if I wanted to get like a henna tattoo, I could use those markers.
Yeah. And so if I wanted to know that information, how inconvenient would it be for me to sit down at my couch all Saturday waiting for somebody to talk about a tattoo marker when I can go on here and type in tattoo marker?
Yeah.
That's but Josh, to my point, that whole 15-minute spiel is really I think that from a brand perspective, this is why I think it's simple, right? From a brand perspective, it's all about information, and it's all about communication. And so just like you guys did with, using Instagram, but we can even go further down into that. Like we can start seeing today, it's so easy to understand what exactly the shoppers are wanting from us on a granular level and pull them out into subgroups, into massive groups, into how you can put in the right information for the most convenient way for that shoppers are getting information from the robot. The robot reads, the robot extrapolates content, it's gathering, it is the expert, it's the person at the car shop or at AutoZone, right? It is the expert of all experts. As long as that expert robot has the information that the shoppers are asking it, therefore you get the return of result. That's the key. And so I think that as we talk about the structure from a brand perspective, I would put resources behind the experts to find out what shoppers are asking and wanting from the robot. From the Wobot.
Robot.
Did I say Wobot?
Almost.
I said Wobot, but from the robot. Like that's, and so Josh, give me just throw it back at me. Tell me I'm stupid, or this doesn't make any sense, or dang, Eric, you're freaking right.
Well,
Wow.
Eric, on a podcast, I would never call you stupid, but I may text you something similar with a couple of other words in front of it or behind it. But no, you're spot on. And now you start thinking about people shopping via voice with Alexa and other things. You throw a whole nother wrinkle into this.
Yeah.
So it's morphing so fast, and the technology is morphing so fast, and people have to figure out quickly how to keep up with where we're going. And you're right. You have to have a resource there. You have to bet on the to come, and you have to bet on the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I throw it back to where it was 20 years ago with category management. All the retailers wanted it. Nobody wanted to resource properly, and they were sitting there in their boardrooms going, I got to put all this money against this, and it's not generating any sales.
Yeah.
And category management's been around for over 20 years now.
Yep.
And so you have to resource this, and you have to bet on it to come. Otherwise, you're going to get way left behind.
You're right. And, here, so to get actionable, here's what I would recommend. And here's what I am recommending to brands and retailers.
The
Wait
world.
for it. Here it comes.
Wait.
This is it.
Don't stop what you're doing, but you have to. If things are kind of working in your present, okay, keep it going, whatever. Or if you can stop, even better. But you have to invest. You have to invest deep diving into two things: what the shopper is asking and wanting from the robot, and number two, what competitors are doing that the robot sees. It's all about the robot, and it's about your shopper and competitors. I am highly recommending for brands today, like when we talk about where do we put our resources, you have to put them in there. And then who is going to do that for you has to be an expert in it. And Justice kind of gets me on another sidekick, but it's not technology that's giving you back that intel. It's requiring expertise, right? We have to, whoever is the expert in understanding how the robots think about what the shopper's wanting, and then how your competitors are responding to that, and why all those things matter. There's 1,000 different reasons why. There has to be experience about it. And I was thinking yesterday, I was like, one way to put in expertise in this data shopper competitive insight space, because there's a lot of Gumbies out there today. I mean, I'm going to call it out.
A Gumby?
A Gumby, Gapers, Tourons.
What's a Gumby?
A Gumby is excuse me, because I know it's a brand, right? Because I love Gumby. But what I'm talking about are new startup technology firms that come out and say, hey, we can fix everything for you. Hey, here comes the world of digital. And they come, and there's 20 of them coming. And I feel sorry for brands. There's 20 of them coming to Josh saying, hey, man, I got the answer for you. Hey, our platform is helping all these people, and all you got to do is put your content in here. Bling, the world's problems are solved. Hey, Walmart. Hey, Sam's Club. Hey, Target. Hey, everybody, just use our platform. Everything's done. You're welcome, P&G. You're welcome, Bic. Thank you for your money. And then you try to call them because nothing's happened in the last 6 months or 2 years, and they're like, "Oh, could you please submit your ticket?"
Well, no, you're right, and it's overwhelming the amount of emails and phone calls that I'm getting from people that are in this space that are the quote experts that want you to go invest money with them. And I think it's the new shiny object, and everybody's jumping on it, and they should, because again, it's going to go quickly, super fast to help people drive their business on the future. But everybody's in this space now, and everybody wants your money, and it's really hard to figure out how to partner with the right people who could really figure this out, not only for the short term, but the long term.
I got an answer for you on that, how to figure out. You know what I would do, Josh? And I was talking to a brand 2 days ago about this. Mm-hmm. You don't have to choose us, right? Okay, good. Fair's fair, right? Here's what I would do. I would look into the history of whatever company it is, and I look into the founders, and I look into the length of what they've been doing and what their experience has been. If they have not been in SEO, search engine optimization, for a good period of time, that's number one, cancel out. Like, there is no way that you have a technology that it knows what Google's doing, and that you just created that because you got $5 million in capital raised from a venture capital firm, right? And now you have the answer in about 6 months for all the brands. You can't do it. And just because you're an expert developer doesn't mean you're an expert in shopper insights and understanding how all this stuff's playing out.
Well, Eric, and I would add one more layer onto this thing too. I mean, end of the day, we can talk technology and who's got the shiniest object and the best widget and everything else. It's still people and people business,
right.
and you want to work with the
Yes.
trustworthy, most ethical
Yep.
people that you know and trust. Hey, Josh, I want to test this with you, and I want to test it at a reasonable price, and let's watch it and look at it together, and let's
Yep.
see what it does, and then let's test something else, and let's try it again. Don't write me a check for $1 million, but let's play with this a bit together, and let's share learnings and partner and work together, as opposed to hitting me up and going, hey, I'd love $1 million investment, because it's a turnoff.
Yeah.
But so if you can put your toe in the water together with people that you respect and trust and want to work with, that's the people you got to spend your money with. That's people that you want to build your brand with.
Man, I love
I think
that.
that's the perfect takeaway.
It is.